Guys, it's Monday!
Monday!
Woo! We've just done sprint planning like we usually do. Got Icy on the phone and stuff. But yeah, what are we doing?
So this week I'm doing Comic Pixels again, finishing up fun and games, and hopefully by the end of the week I'm going to be doing some patterns for the pattern DLC for Hulu. So that should be some good fun. Hopefully it won't give me a headache.
The Hexia DLC, might be finishing up with that. Most of that will be done this week, but I'm also spending a day doing the Colour Pixels on Switch, QA testing as well. Got a bit done, but I want to get it done quite quickly, so I'll be taking a day to do that as well.
Yeah, cool. For me, Athena. So trying to get that floor stuff finished off that I've been doing the past couple of weeks. And some more decorating, hopefully. We kind of want to get it done and sorted by April so we can just move on with our lives. So yeah, a final bit of decorating, hopefully. Yeah, okay, so I've been continuing working on the floor stuff for Athena. I've swapped over to the Unity's version of the terrain system, but it turns out that as you scale up the resolution of the terrain, you basically get the same FPS issue. So whenever I try and modify the terrain, you get a huge lag spike. Obviously, I could improve that a little bit, but the actual end result isn't great either. So I would have to deep dive into some shader stuff anyway with this system. So I'm going to quickly revert all my stuff back to where it was, because I'm more comfortable doing my own system rather than latching onto someone else's. But yeah, it's just a bit of a bummer that a lot of today has been wasted, but at least now I know.
Okay, so it's been quite a busy day for me today. I managed to get through quite a lot of fun and games. I actually got 3 images almost done. So I'll start off this morning by doing this quite simple image. It's got quite a lot of detail in, but it just kind of represents multiple types of games and sports really. So we've got basketball, volleyball. I quite like it. It's quite a simple image, just a series of icons of different types of balls. And I quite like it. This one took quite a while. It's quite a nice one. I originally was going to do a tree house, but I changed it just to a swing. I may still do a tree house, haven't decided. But I really like the embossed effect that I managed to achieve in this one. I quite like the simplicity of it. It's just kind of a nice little bunny rabbit on a swing. And this one I've been working on for the past hour or so, and it's called Senate. It's an Egyptian game that Rob suggested. Quite a hard one to do. I'm really trying to play around with 3D. I want to try to get that 3D effect, and I'm kind of going to add in a darker shade of the Colouring Pixels background, just so it has a bit of a shadow, so it's not sitting on nothing. So sort of like this here. So I'll just quickly draw it like that, just so it's not completely just sitting like in thin air. I think it'll look a bit boring like that. But the symbols on the sides are quite hard to do. As you can see in my reference image, it's quite detailed. So getting it on the side and pixel art was quite difficult, but I think that's the best I'm going to get. I may make some tweaks in the future, so it may change. I've just realised I think I may have deleted the layer over here somewhere, which is bugging me now. Quickly fix that so it looks better for the video. There we go. Quick fix. But yeah, it's getting there.
Okay, yeah, so I've been taking a break from the floor stuff, and I've been working on some AI. Ooh. Look, we've got creatures, and they're walking around, and they're bumping into each other and stuff. So it's actually the first time I've managed to get all the creature animations and things like that Jack's been working on for the past few months, really, into the game. And I think they're looking great, honestly.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds.
Yeah, look at them. They're bumping into each other as well. So I've actually managed to... I've worked a lot with this tech before, but we managed to get the nav mesh generation all kind of working. We're going to have to do a lot more on this, really, but we've got the base stuff going there. And right now they're just set to wander in random directions and things like that. They do bump into each other, but I think the next step is probably to make them bump into the player. This guy's going to turn around. They don't have eyes yet as well, which is a little bit creepy, but that's because we're going to do a whole like eye animation system type of thing that makes it very emotive.
Okay, so I've actually had quite a busy day today. I've actually managed to get 3 images done, but I actually ended up doing the pinball machine, and I'm really happy with this. I love the colours I managed to incorporate in here. And as if you look carefully, it does represent a little bit of hexene. You can see down here. Obviously I can't draw the hexagons, but it definitely has a little bit of a hexy little nod there, definitely around the rims, and I'm quite happy I don't think I'll be making any tweaks. The shadow is a little off, I think. Maybe I've been looking at it too long, but I feel like there should be some shadow around here, around the feet. But maybe not. I'm not entirely sure, because when shadows are underneath an object, it isn't spread outside, so I think it's right, but I'll leave it. I'll come back to it. My future self may spot a difference that I need to make.
You okay, girl? She's getting a bit restless. It's almost home time. Yeah, so I've been making tons more progress on Athena, so the birds are going backwards again. Oh, I didn't flip them. But as you can see, we've got loads of creatures in the game now. The worms are in, but the animations are a bit broken, so they look a bit terrifying, a bit like slugs at the moment. They will look cuter, I promise. All the creatures have got eyes, which is kind of cool. And me and Jack have been spending a lot of time on this little area over here. So the idea is that we're going to have lots of these segments sort of like around the edge of the map, and this is where the creatures will... Luna. This is where the creatures originally spawn in. We'll have like a bush or something here, they'll spawn in, and then once you hit the requirements, whatever that might be, then they'll enter the garden, and then you can be best friends. It'll be really cool. So I've been trying to sort that out, and I've been working on a couple of other things as well. So like these rocks now basically they've got collision on them, so you can't walk through them. The creatures can't as well, and then when you destroy them with this great karate chop shovel action, you can walk through them. So that's really cool. Just a pretty big milestone for that. We've done the same for like all of the trees and bushes and all of that, which is kind of cool.
So it's been a bit of a different day for me today. I started off the day with colouring pixels, but then I actually ended up working on some other stuff in a moment, which I'll show you. But I did manage to finish off the D20 dice image, and I'm quite happy with it, although there is some things that I definitely need to fix. There's a few things on other images that I want to fix too, so once I finish all the images, I'm going to make a pass through and fix all the things that I don't like. For this image specifically, I think the roll on the R, the R on the roll, sorry, looks a bit thick. It looks a bit too dominant. The sim to 20, I think this is a bit too thick compared to the other numbers. I know this is supposed to be the front-facing one, so it should be a bit more dominant, but I think this is a bit too dominant. I am playing around with the idea of adding something in the middle here, but I don't want to fill the image up too much. I can make a habit of myself adding too much detail where it's not needed, so maybe I'll leave it. I'm going to sleep on it and see how I feel in the morning. But for the rest of the day, I've actually been working on Athena. So Rob was working on the island today, and he thought that it might be a good idea if I did some work on it just alongside him, just so we can get some things done. So as you can see here, I've been building the segments on the side, and this is essentially a border for the island, just for where the animals can spawn. The player won't be able to edit on these parts. It's simply to spawn point and where the creatures will come from. So this one works well. Rob's already tested this one, but he's went home, so he hasn't tested these two. But this is the shape that he did a little sketch for me, and this is how they would look. And I do need to add one down here in this corner too. I'm quite happy with them. If you try imagine it with a bit of an art pass through it, there will be some rocks surrounding it, definitely making it blend in a bit more with the main island. But overall, yeah, it's come along quite nice. They're not too tasking to do, but as well as that, I've been making various fixes on the creatures, which I can't really show. It's just little tweaks that I've made for Rob, just so they work in the engine.
So yeah, I spent most of today going over the Hex Seed levels for the next DLC, Ignis. And as I said before, it's got a new mechanic coming in. So as we saw on the plan, we slowly introduce mechanics one at a time. Well, not one at a time, but at least a few at a time. So I've just done these bunch of levels down here in Zone 1. What that means is the only mechanics in use for this whole section is obviously the new mechanic, both clockwise and anti-clockwise, and the line mechanic as well. So yeah, it's quite tricky, to be honest. Just using those mechanics, it is quite restrictive, but at the same time, it does sort of hammer home how the mechanic works, both for myself making level and hopefully for the player as well. But yeah, that's the first section done, and I'll be picking up again tomorrow with the next set of mechanics on levels, which will be using the ring and the radius as well.
Cool, so I've been making a fair bit of progress with the help of Jack, getting some of these assets in game. So I managed to get the bunny in game, which is kind of cool, a little hopping around. We managed to get them spawning in dynamically. So the idea is that they spawn on these sort of like edge bits in sort of like a grayscale material, and then the idea is you make them happy enough for them to actually enter your gardens. Yes, maybe the rabbit wants a load of carrots, so you dig some holes and then you grow some carrots in the holes and stuff, and then he'll come into the garden. Then if you feed him a couple of carrots, then he'll become happy. So we have been trying to get that working. So at the moment, now if you just click on them once, I'll give them a quick nudge. They can walk on the, well, in your garden really, in your customizable bit, and then if you click them again, they become like full color. And then yeah, they're your best friends. Yay!
So yeah, I've just been going through some more Hexseed levels. I've finished up the next lot of levels that were on the Trello board, so that's section 2 or zone 2 of the world done, which means the next section of introducing mechanics is done. But yeah, now going on to taking a bit of a break from Hexseed, and on the Switch here there's a couple more levels that he's doing in both the Illusions book and the Tech book, so I'm going to go through and get those tested.
Okay, so a bit of a change of plan today. I was originally going to do the arcade image, but this morning I actually spent a lot of time doing some fixes for Athena for Rob, so you can get those implemented into the build. But the bulk of this afternoon's been working on this last image for Fun and Games. Originally I was going to do an arcade, but really had a really cool idea for doing an Oculus, or VR just in general, shooting out, having like a two-dimensional kind of scene where there'll be the scene that the person can see inside the VR, which is like a really cool fantasy or maybe sci-fi landscape, and of course the other half of it being his bedroom. And it's coming along quite nicely. The bedroom's almost done. It's quite an ambitious one, lots of detail packed in here, but we're finally almost done. I just need to do a bit of work on this fish tank stuck in a little plane, but after that I'm actually going to get to work on the landscape. No idea what I'm going to put in it yet. I'm just going to have a little play around and just get a bit creative with it and just sketch some things down and see what sticks. So I've pretty much been all over the place today. I really wanted to finish off this image, and I did, and I actually quite like it. It came out pretty much how I wanted it to. The only thing that I didn't plan for was this creepy figure in the background, but I really like it, so I decided to keep it. I showed the guys, and they think it would be really cool if there was some dithering coming off the hologram, I suppose. It's not really a hologram, it's more what he's seeing, but it would make it blend with the scene a lot more. So I'm going to try experiment with that at one point, but I've actually been quite busy today working back on Athena. So I started off this afternoon by making some of these ridges for Rob, as you can see. These are the segments I made yesterday, but one of these little bits here too, that kind of just surround the island. It took quite a while to try and get the measurements down, making sure it actually worked, and Rob was kind enough to send over this FBX here of his floor, so it was a lot easier for me to go around and just highlight the edges. And yeah, it came out quite nice, and from what I've heard it seems to work in game, so I haven't seen it yet, but the measurements seem to work out fine. But at the minute I'm just doing a lot of fixes, so I'm back on the boat. There's a few things that need fixing on the boat, so what I'm currently working on is essentially separating the boat. So we want the door to be completely separated, so you can see I've put a pivot point down here on the mechanism so that when you actually rotate it, it kind of looks like it's going in. There we go. I've done the same for the propeller at the back. There we go. And essentially the lanterns as well, just in case we want them to swing whilst the boat's moving. And the same for the anchor, but they all have custom pivot points now, so that if Rob ever wants to move them around in game, he can see what those look like. But there's actually an unexpected problem on the boat that I've just found out, that there's a lot of faces that are facing the wrong way, which will it will mess up the texturing whether it's in Unity. And the sails are not a problem because they're essentially just a sheet. But you can see here that the chains are all the wrong way, so essentially I need to go around and select all the faces manually and revert those back to blue, which means that the texture won't be messed up. And I need to do that for the rest of the models too. There's a few models that have been pushed back by Rob, and I need to get onto fixing them. But this one's taking a little bit longer, as like I said, those faces take quite a while.
So start today with the announcements for the Fun and Games DLC, which is coming out next Friday. Not next Friday, sorry, 2 weeks from now. So yeah, back on track in terms of getting stuff out on time, or at least early. So we've got the competition running for the full 2 weeks. So by the time you're watching this video, if it comes out on Friday, there'll still be a week left of this giveaway. So make sure you jump in here and press this button to join the giveaway, and you get a chance to win the Steam key for free for the DLC. Other than that though, I've just been going through completing more of the levels for the next DLC for Hexseed as well. and yeah, made very good progress. I've got up to the end of what we've called Zone 3, which again, if you jump back to this little one-note scribble or scroll, that's everything up to here, which is really good, because I actually done half of this, and I've finished up the second part of that. So all that's left is the Zone 4, the final section with all the mechanics introduced, and as well as some of the milestones as well. But yeah, have a quick look at the actual number of levels left to do. It's only 26 levels, not including the milestones. So that's really promising. 30 levels to go, and then the DLC is completely done. And again, that's 3 weeks, I believe, until the DLC comes out. So that's really good timing, back on schedule with Hexeed as well for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so I'm working from home a little bit today. Just wanted to get some more of Jack's art into the game. As you can see, we've got like a whole Wild West thing going on. I think it looks really good. So we've got the creatures still spawning like they were before, and I've just gone ahead and added a skybox. And yeah, I just want to add some actual terrain. So this is kind of what we want the game to look like when you first spawn into the world, and the idea is that you clear it out, make it all a lot more habitable. So we can go ahead and just start sort of like patting the earth, making it a bit clearer. And then the idea is that once you've cleared out a lot of the area, then you'll get your first creature spawning, which is likely going to be wormy, and then you go and talk to him to see what things he likes for him to join your garden. And yeah, another thing you might notice, it's not very good, but we've actually got particle effects, so when you actually hit the wood, little bits of wood chunks come out. It's the same, so like if I smash this bit of grass, it's a little bit of green grass, and there's some of the rocks as well. They're not very good because I'm not very good at particle effects, but it's nice to have something in there. There you go, little rocks. Yeah, another thing we're working on is the nav mesh stuff. So if we just quickly have a look at this, you see that there's gaps in the nav mesh. It's basically your walkable area for yourself and the creatures. You'll just see this bunny is walking around this skull. But then if we actually like destroy the thing, see, there we go. You can walk past it now, absolutely fine, because it updates. Just another little nice touch. And then I don't know if you can notice, but the actual like cracked earth section is sort of like a bit jaggedy now. It's not completely flat. And it goes complete. There you go. You can see little raised bits. Just about. And then when you hit it with the earth, it updates and it flattens. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, just lots of nice little touches to make the game look good.
Guys, it's the weekend!
The weekend!
Woo. It's been a pretty busy week.
It's been a pretty busy week. Yeah, for me, it's pretty much just been fun and games for Coloring Pixels, which is all wrapped up now. I may make a pass on a few of the images, but it's pretty much done. And by the time this video comes out, it should be out next week, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and week after that, we've got Hexeed, which Lee's been doing a lot of work on this week as well. Then week after that, we've got Wooloop, was it Patterns?
Yep.
Yes, patterns.
We've got so much on. But there's just look at the store page. There's going to be something coming out at some point soon.
Thank you for all our patrons who keep us going, and everyone on the Discord channel. It's always nice to see people, especially in my little corner of the Discord. So thank you to all the people who support us. I don't know what to say. I'm losing my mind.
Jack's Daily Art.
Daily Art, that's the one. Why did I say Jack's Corner? You should call it Jack's Corner. Yeah.